not bothered by that little injury at all. Aren't you beautiful? Look at all those wrinkles. See, it's healing. Now, I don't know if you saw when that elephant opens its mouth how its tusks are just starting to protrude. We'll see if it turns its head again. No, it's still got quite a bit of growing to do before it reaches the surface. See them there? Look at that. You see those little gaps where those tusks are going to come out? There it is. So this is what I say. So they start growing them from a very early age, but it takes almost 2 years before they can before we'll be able to see them with the naked eye without them having to open their mouths at quite close quarters. That is fantastic. Look at those folds of skin, and that's often what gets quite itchy with the elephants. You know, if you saw there's sort of skin that forms around that tusk, and quite often you'll find the elephants sort of curling their trunks back to the top of their heads and then rubbing their tusks on a branch or something along those lines, and I can imagine that must get quite itchy, especially if there's dust and things going in there, like this elephant is obviously covering itself with now. Now, Jason, you were wondering if a snake could penetrate through an elephant's skin. I think it would depend on where on the body, because we see elephants going through some very nasty thorns and coming off with sort of a surface scratch, almost like if you were to take your nail and scratch your arm, you get that sort of white coloration on it. So I'm not sure. I've never seen elephants with snake bites before. Maybe their skin is just too thick. If a snake had to bite it on the foot, I don't know, because their skin can be quite a few centimeters thick in certain areas. If a snake were to bite an elephant, I think on the ear, then yes, that is very, very thin, sensitive skin, and I reckon that they would probably then, yes, be affected by the venom. But maybe you've read something or watched something where elephants have been bitten. I've never really come across it before. Maybe even on the tip of the trunk, because that's quite sensitive if it got sort of bitten inside where the little fingers are. Maybe. But otherwise, I think those feet are really hard and robust. I just want to listen to the Game Drive radio very quickly, just because I can hear some chatter. I can't understand what anyone's saying because they're speaking fluent Shangaan, and unfortunately I'm not blessed like James, and I can't speak it as well as James can, of course. I can speak Xhosa a little bit better. Yes, I'm ready for my tennis racket shoes. The proper word, thanks, Kirst. Snowshoes, Kirsty, that wasn't complicated. I thought I had to listen very carefully because I was under the impression that it was going to be some long word. So that is obviously very obvious. So thank you so much. And I hope you had a good chuckle at my tennis racket shoes. But there we go, snowshoes. So everybody that helped out in correcting me, I've learned something new today. So thank you very much. And when I do decide to come and visit the States, or I go somewhere where there's snow, I won't be embarrassed by walking into a shop and asking for those tennis racket shoes anymore. And I can imagine that whoever would be working in a shop like that would probably laugh hysterically at me, and that would be very embarrassing. So thank you so much for saving me. I shall now remember that. Snowshoes. Now, we're going to continue a search for the Nkuhumas. I'm going to have a chat with a few of the guides now. But I believe that Byron has safely arrived on the plains of the cheetah.